I think because people were getting really fucking mad at me on my second channel for my opinions about Starfield, um, and how I feel like Starfield is gonna be just Fallout 4, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, whatever, just reskinned for space. Doesn't mean it's gonna be a bad game, doesn't mean it's gonna be a good game, but it is gonna be a Bethesda game. So we know that Todd Howard's gonna be fucking lying to us. He's got a history of doing that. So I'm interested to see why would Sawman not laughs in Fallout 76. I nearly forgot Fallout 76. And let's not forget the mobile gaming masterpiece that is Fallout Shelter. Oh my god, Fallout Shelter. Man, that was such a piece of shit game. But I'm very interested to see what Sawman has to say, because he's also like one of those content creators that refuses to suckle on the teat of Todd Howard's cock and just be like, oh my god, it's gonna be amazing, and then when it drops and it's dog shit, then they're like, how could this have happened? Bethesda, no, you were the chosen one. So I'm very interested to see what he has to say, because obviously I know very little about Starfield. I've watched a few trailers, but I haven't done like a deep dive into their full interview where Todd Howard is again lying to some gaming journalist about what's going to be in the game and what's not.
In 2018, Bethesda...
Also, I'm jaded as fuck, which you could probably tell.
They officially introduced us to Starfield. Expectations were set early on. The trailer received 3.6 million views and almost 40,000 likes.
Yeah,
this game is the first new intellectual property by Bethesda in 25 years. Not only that, it's probably one of the biggest exclusives for Xbox since Halo. This is the game Todd Howard has dreamt of making since the early days of Bethesda. There is a lot riding on the success of this game. And with this, we get a lot of hype, a lot of marketing, and a lot of Todd Howard talking. And we all know how that goes.
You see that? You see anyone who's
Todd
lived
Howard
through,
talking.
anyone who lived through anything that Todd Howard has produced, the 3,000,001 releases of Skyrim, all the Fallout games, because the games don't have to be bad, but what he says is going to be in them is not there. 16 times the detail, and it just works. Or the weight of all the bobby pins. I can't remember which game it was, but someone was mad enough at Todd Howard that he sent him a massive box of bobby pins and was just like, here, weigh these, bitch. They don't fucking weigh that much, fuck you. So I think what's gonna happen is Star Citizen, if I'm gonna look at this predictive wise, I think Starfield, aka Todd Howard Star Citizen, that's better, is gonna be good. Like, it's gonna be like a 7 out of 10. But Todd Howard's going to tell you that it's going to be a 25 out of 10.
And we all know how that goes. So in today's video, I want to cover off one particular topic, and that is, should we be concerned about Starfield?
Yes.
Before we get started, I think it's worth pointing out that I'm not a hater of Todd Howard or Starfield. One of my favourite games is Oblivion. I played Skyrim, I played Morrowind, I played Fallout, I even played Fallout 76 and enjoyed it. However...
Okay, let's go down the list, because I've played a lot of Bethesda games as well. Top of the list is, for me at least, it's the mods in Fallout New Vegas, which I know is not technically Bethesda, was a side company, blah blah blah, but that's top of the list. After that, it's Morrowind. Then it's FNV, Fallout New Vegas under that. Equivalent to Fallout New Vegas is probably, I'd say, Fallout 2. Then underneath that is Fallout 3, which is still in like the good range. It's still in the acceptable range. All underneath that is Fallout. I never played Fallout 1, so I'm not ranking that. Fallout 4. Then nothing was as much of a shit show as Fallout 76. And you know what? I'm going to slot it in somewhere. I think Oblivion is better than Skyrim. And I think Skyrim was about equal to Fallout 3. Although I enjoyed the world of Fallout 3 more than I did Skyrim in particular. But they're about the same, I would say. Morrowind, Dark Messiah, Fallout 2. Oh, fuck, I forgot Dark Messiah. Dark Messiah was a fucking banger, dude. Oh my god, I loved Dark Messiah back in the day. Oblivion, Dark Messiah. I'd have to say Dark Messiah is better than Oblivion, but that's like personal taste. Oblivion and Dark Messiah are both amazing. I think Morrowind was way better than Skyrim. I think Skyrim's only good because they re-released it a million times, so they had a million chances to make it better.
However, like many of you, I have been lied to by major game studios in the past, and this has caused me to be somewhat pessimistic when it comes to new title announcements. Leave a like if you were also traumatized by Cyberpunk. The Starfield marketing has been like nothing I've ever seen before. It is crazy how much they put into the advertisement of this game. And if there's one thing that Todd Howard is great at, it's sales pitches. But unfortunately, he tends to get a little bit carried away, and he exaggerates just a tiny little bit.
Just a little bit, just a teeny tiny little bit. He just, he just takes it a little bit over the line by, like, if Todd Howard worked in the government, right? You know how they made all those announcements about aliens and shit? If Todd Howard was the guy giving the announcement, he'd be like, aliens are flying over your house right now. There's an alien fucking your wife while you're listening to me. There's an alien in your coffee. Oh, by the way, this microphone is an alien, and I'm an alien too. Watch me blink my eyes sideways, and then he'd turn his head to the side and blink normally. So like, see, isn't that cool? I'm an alien. That's the kind of person he is. He just takes it just a little bit overboard.
These NPCs are not scripted. And it works, it actually works perfectly. Our artists have painstakingly modeled over 9,000 objects. We actually have recorded around 1,000 of the most popular names for him to say.
We have over 40,000 lines of recorded dialogue.
All new rendering technology. Yes! We made a real one.
Wait, what?
Mods transferred, played, and shared for free on Xbox One.
By the way, that video has 4.4 million views and 178,000 likes. The point I'm trying to make is Todd Howard, he's known for extending the truth, exaggerating just a tiny fraction. So it'd be safe to assume that he's told one or two porkies about Starfield. Now obviously with the game not being out yet, all we can do is speculate as to what is true, what is false, and what has been exaggerated. And with this, I have a list of stuff which is of concern to me.
So, okay, before he gets into his major concerns, there's a few ways this is gonna go, right? I'm old and jaded, so I don't trust Todd at all. I don't trust Toddy. I don't trust him as far as I could throw him, and I'm fat and lazy, so I can't throw him very far. But I think there's going to be three groups that come out of this. There's going to be the jaded group like me who's going to be like, Todd's full of shit. Wait until the game's out. Then there's going to be a group of people who are going to be actively very negative about a bunch of stuff. So from my jaded perspective, I expect 100% that Starfield is just going to be a reskinned version of Fallout 4, which was a reskinned version of the Fallout 3 mechanics, but that, I think there's going to be people who are going to be overly negative, who are going to say that the game's going to be busted, that it won't work. And I think those people are the people who played Fallout 76 and that was their first experience with Bethesda. And then I think there's going to be the simps, who are probably the worst group, who are going to come out and it doesn't... Why is there a helicopter flying over my house? Okay, it doesn't matter. There's going to be a bunch of simps. They're going to come out and it doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter what evidence you show them. It doesn't matter, like, anything you tell them. They are going to be hyper defensive over Starfield because they really, really, really want an epic space fantasy game, and they never played Mass Effect. So I think there will be people who are positive as well, who aren't like obsessed in the same way the simps are, but I think they'll be a minority in comparison. Or at least they won't be as vocal as the simps are. Oh, they'll just be like, looks like it'll maybe be good. I'll play it. You know, as opposed to, how dare you say anything bad about our Lord and Savior, Todd. I'm gonna fucking flay your skin and wear you around the house as a miniskirt and thong. Wait 1 year before it's cooked and grab it for cheap. Wait 1 year until the mods have gotten a hold of it and made it 1,000,000 times better. You know, there's one thing, if I think about it, there's actually one thing that Toddy boy that keeps on forgetting to put into his games, and that's titty jiggle physics. And let me tell you something, there's some very, very amazing mods out there who know how to fix that problem. So give it a few months.
You may be wondering, just how big is this game? So we thought we'd take one last moment and show you. You can also land and explore anywhere on the planet. And it's not just this planet, it's all the planets in the system. Over 1,000 planets, all open for you to explore.
1,000 procedurally generated planets. What could go wrong?
Planets are different.
Not only that, but he's going to point it out now, that sounds exactly like Mass Effect. And what I expect is that if there's 1,000 planets in the game, about 50 of them will have some kind of habitable life on it, and the rest will be desolate. And then they'll try and sell that as a feature, where they'll say, no, but this is to show you how desolate and expansive space is, blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, okay, that's cool. That's probably very realistic. But I don't want to go to 950 barren planets before I find one of the 50 that actually have people on it. That sounds like it might end up being fucking boring.
Different colors, but the gameplay never evolves beyond walking and mining.
It's an unimaginably huge open universe that invites exploration, but one where nothing of significance ever happens.
No Man's Sky was the original inventor of the procedurally generated planets. And as you just heard, it wasn't necessarily that popular or that breathtaking as you may think. However, unlike No Man's Sky, Starfield aims to have some specific planets which will be the same for everyone. These main planets will be the basis of the whole plot of the game, so they are quite important, which just leaves the other 1,000 planets to be there for what exactly? Exploration, I'm assuming? Perhaps mining for resources and building a settlement, because we know how much fun it is building settlements.
Another settlement has they need our help. I'll mark it on your map.
The concern for me here is that
I will compare this game to Freelancer, and there's nothing anyone can do about it. I don't actually know that much about Freelancer. My immediate comparison is I want to compare this to No Man's Sky, right? But No Man's Sky now is actually good. So I'm curious to see, in comparison to No Man's Sky, where does Starfield fall? Does it fall into the it's okay, it's equivalent, it's a little bit worse, or it's complete dog shit in comparison? Freelancer is the OG of this kind of game. It shames all of these. I'll have to look into it a bit later.
1,000 extra planets don't seem to add to the whole plot and story of the game. I mean, yes, it's a nice touch, the universe is endless, of course you want to explore it, but what sort of exploration are we going to get from these planets?
There are over 1,000 planets out there, just waiting for you to visit. We want you to feel like
Can you land? All I want to know is, can you land in a gas giant? Can they figure out a way to make the inside of a gas giant interesting? Or is it just going to be like you go near a gas giant and you just get killed by the pressure? Which would be, that's the reality of it. So there might be 1,000 planets, and then some of them are gas giants, so you can't land on them, and the others are desolate, so they don't matter. And they're going to do the same thing that they did in Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, where there's 3 factions. All of them are technically bad. There's no objectively right choice, except for House. House was the right choice in Fallout New Vegas. Don't tell anyone. There's no technically right choice, and you're the bad guy regardless of what you do. That's what I expect.
explorers, breaking ground on new planets, exploring every inch of a mostly untouched galaxy.
1,000 planets to explore sounds amazing, up until the point that you realize that 90% of them are just going to be deserted and nothing more than a bunch of rocks. And have you noticed as well that in all the clips that you seem to be doing the same thing, which is of course walking? I get it, it's probably done for cinematic effect, but at the same time, at no point have I seen the spaceship flying within the atmosphere, or of course riding around on a little space buggy. You can even see in the footage that there's an option to fast travel to the planet, but as I said, all landing sequences are just that, they're a sequence. It's not something that you have to manually do. And once
I think they will have a space buggy, right? I think they didn't show the space buggy because it's not ready. Maybe this is mild copium, but I think that if they can put horses in Skyrim, they can probably figure out a space buggy. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've got that wrong.
Once you land, you get out and you explore. But what if you're 2 miles away from a point of interest? Do you then have to get back in the spaceship, travel out into space again, choose that point and travel back down? It just doesn't seem very clear, and it just seems very odd that you just can't fly on the planet, you know, like in No Man's Sky. There is a huge emphasis on the fact that if you go to the same planet as a friend, you'll have a completely different player experience.
I think what's cool about this whole system that we generate the planet itself as a procedural content, but the handcrafted content itself comes as the player explore. So even if your friends were to visit the same planet that you had, you would have a different story to tell.
They have shown a wide variety of points of interest, and some of them look spectacular.
Okay, the procedural generation is like a mixed bag of things, right? That means you can either have really awesome things happen in your world or really just mediocre things happen in your world. Procedural generation is a really, really hard thing for a dev to tackle and get it right. Because it also depends on the degree to which things are procedurally generated. God, that one's such a mixed bag. It can either go really well or really badly. But it also means that in some sense, if someone gets a really good procedural generation, the people who don't get that same procedural generation or get a worse experience with it are immediately robbed of an experience that one person got. And so that might lead to people modding the game to always give ideal planets or something like that. Who knows?
But a lot of these seem canon to the main story and the main
hole.
planets. So the question remains, how many handcrafted points of interest will be generated on a planet? What is the likelihood of running into a duplicated handcrafted asset? And looking at the size of some of these planets, how much variety can there truly be? Let's be honest, on a game like Skyrim, sometimes some of the dungeons can seem a bit repetitive. And these guys are trying to create a whole universe.
Because they were copy-paste
And if
dungeons.
this game is as detailed as they make it out to be, what will the overall performance be once you start loading up 1,000 planets?
So what it'll probably do is it'll procedurally generate as you get close to it, and then store it in a memory bank under some number, and then just pull that number back up later to regenerate that planet if you ever go back. But I don't think performance-wise that procedural generation is as much of an issue, unless you're running anything below a 2080 in your system. Then Todd Howard's going to tell you to get fucked. And for the same shitty micro hub with a few variants of NPCs and nothing else on the planet. Oh god, I hope not. I hope not.
We want to give this team the time. I think Matt says we have every QA person in our entire company,
State of Washington,
like playing Starfield right now, looking at bug counts, looking at quality and where we are. The nice thing about what we showed today, from my perspective, is that was the game. Like as I said, we've not a little bit humble brag, but
there we go.
You know, we've been playing the game for quite a while, and that is the game.
It is claimed that this is going to be the least buggy Bethesda game that we've seen to date, which doesn't seem...
The least buggy Bethesda game to date. I mean, maybe. I mean, maybe if they've been playing it forever, maybe. But listen, if your house is full of a million cockroaches, and you take 5 cockroaches out, technically, that's the least buggy your house has been. But no, maybe it will be. But I'll leave that one at I'll see it when I'll believe it when I see it. I'll definitely believe it when I see it.
Seem like that big of a claim. Redfall, which released earlier this year, was another Bugfesda game with lots of bugs, and it was so bad that they even released an apology. The ironic thing is, if it wasn't for the acquisition of ZeniMax Media by Microsoft, Starfield would have released a lot sooner.
Truth be told, when the acquisition closed, this game had a significantly earlier ship date than where we're actually launching it, even significantly later than the date that we once had for the game, but it was earlier than that before. So
we've already seen a lot of improvements since that infamous trailer with the 30 FPS, the shoddy gunfights, and the frame drops. But it does make you wonder, did they improve the gun gameplay because people complained about it? Or because it was already in the works and the QA team had come back and said, no, this needs to improve. It's already been said on record as well that the consoles will be limited to 30 FPS.
Of course they fucking will be. I'm like, okay, this maybe this is copium on my part, but it's like every single console always gets limited in some way. It's either limited to frame rate, or it's limited to graphical quality, or the anti-aliasing isn't quite there. But it's always going to be like that. If you're playing on a console, you're always going to have a less quality experience because there's less shit you've put together in your PC than you have put together in a PC. When you've built a PC, you kind of know about where its specs are, so you might have a worse experience than a console, or you might have a way better one. But the option with a PC is that you can always make shit better. You can't do that with a console.
We do lock it at 30 because we want that fidelity. We want all that stuff. We don't want to sacrifice any of it.
Once again, it seems like a very strange decision based on the fact that this is a next-gen game, but apparently it's going to make the game run smoother, it will look better and be more optimized. We hope. This year has seen countless games being released in a very unoptimized way, and in a style which has caused memory leaks, game crashes, and all sorts of fuckery. So how confident can we really be about Bethesda releasing a game on day one with no issues? Me personally, I'm expecting an apology tweet in about a week after release. But anyway,
holy shit. People are going to be so mad at him for being negative about the release of their god bold game here. Obviously it's going to be good. God damn it, Sawman, what's wrong with you? Oh, how dare you have a negative opinion on the company that keeps on fucking things up for us.
My last and final concern, and this is probably one of the most unpopular opinions I'm going to have, it's probably the fanboys.
Yep, there you go.
I can't believe I get to stand near you, breathing the same air. I've got to have every molecule.
The average Todd Howard fan, am I right? The Bethesda fan base are so loyal that they keep buying Skyrim every time it's re-released, and get this, at full retail price. I mean, are you really a fan unless you own Skyrim on PC, Xbox, PlayStation, and Toaster? The thing is,
yes, okay, Sawman, but that's just the beginner level, you see, because you've got to get Skyrim on all those systems, including your Toaster, on your mother's dialysis machine. Then you've got to make sure that you've got Skyrim running on the little LCD screen on your fridge. And then you've got to make sure that you've got Skyrim the Ultimate Edition, Skyrim the Collector's Edition, Skyrim the Ultimate Collector's Edition, Skyrim the re-release of the Ultimate Collector's Edition with a better resolution but a lower graphical fidelity. And then you've got to get Skyrim on your deck so you can play Skyrim while you have sex, because you've got to do something, because otherwise it's boring. And then you've got to make sure that when you've got Skyrim on your Skyrim, that you can log into Skyrim with a mod, go into Skyrim, find Alduin, and as you kill Alduin, you can play Skyrim on his corpse. Because otherwise, I mean, you're not really a fan unless you've at least done that. That's just like level 1. I mean, come on. And that's why Back 4 Blood is dead. The devs forbid mods or the creation of modding tools. Yeah, no, of course. If you forbid the mods, you're going to fuck up your game. Mods actively make the people go out, buy the game so they can play the mod. It's one of the weirdest things ever for game devs to be really fucking mad at people who mod their game. And what you'll notice is that if you give people the freedom to mod your game, especially if it's a single player game, it makes the game better for certain people, because they can get certain experiences that the devs wouldn't have otherwise made, because devs are working on a budget, devs are working to a time crunch. Devs don't have time to put all this other shit in the game or even fix all their problems. And guess what? You're getting paid by the hour. But guess what? A mod is doing it because they're passionate. A mod is doing it because they fucking love doing it. Take a shot every time you say Skyrim. I'll be pissed drunk in about a minute. But a mod will do things for your game that makes it better. And then people are like, wow, that's fucking amazing. I should buy the game and then go put this mod in, which makes the game better. Right? And what's the fucking dev complaining about? Right? What are they complaining about? Someone bought their game and then modded it? It's the dumbest shit ever to complain about that. I'm excited about Starfield. I hope it's good. I really do hope it's good. Right? I hope that Iconic, like, I genuinely fucking hope it's a good experience. But I just worry that they're trying to oversell it. And it's like I said, I think overall it'll probably be a 7 out of 10 game. And then mods will probably take that to a 10 out of 10 game. The same way, God, what mod was it in New Vegas? Honest Hearts, I think it was. With Joshua Graham. That made the game so fucking awesome. And that was like a whole side quest thing. That was a mod. But I think it'll be a decent, solid game. And it's just, it won't be the dick-sucking, do your washing while jerking you and your dad and your dead grandfather off at the same time kind of experience that Todd Howard is selling it at. Or selling it as. Most of the complaining is coming from PlayStation dick suck. Well, yeah, they locked to 30 frames per second. Oh, wait, no. Wait, well, hold on. I'm thinking of Xbox, aren't I? It's coming out on Xbox and it's not coming out on PlayStation, if I've got that right. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't know console releases that much.
Bethesda know this, and they know that if they just put in the right amount of nostalgia and callbacks to other games, then they'll have a winner. This game is already being dubbed Game of the Year, and let's be honest, there's no real competition. And even if it is dog shit, the fact that it has such a loyal fan base, you just know it's going to sell loads of copies. What other game studios have you seen trying to sell merch for a game that hasn't even been released yet. And they do it so casually too, like, oh look, here's a watch which is in this game, maybe you should buy it. Oh look, Starfield controller, better go buy it. Oh, Starfield console, look.
This is called the Disney strategy, what they're doing here. Because what you'll notice is that Disney does the same thing with their movies. They'll have a movie that's coming out, and before the movie is even released, they've got toys that are stocked and waiting in a fucking warehouse somewhere, and the second the movie releases, they're gonna have all those toys pushed out within a day or two to all the suppliers, and that's like a big part of their money-making scheme is the merchandise. And I think Bethesda's caught on to that as well, because why not? I mean, if you can get cool shit from a video game, why wouldn't you? After the release of Fallout 3, which was a resounding success, even though I think there were better titles like Fallout 2, and but that's just me enjoying RPGs more, and more choice in RPGs. But people started randomly collecting fucking bottle caps. Like there were Fallout 3 players who fucking loved the game so much, they just had random ass stacks of bottle caps in their cupboard, like the nuke was coming tomorrow. I know, because I used to be friends with some of them.
We painted it white and put stripes on it, now it's Starfield.
They'll buy just about anything.
My biggest fear is that
Jesus
any
Christ,
genuine
Todd.
criticisms of the
To be
game
fair, the
or
controller and the
improvements
headset look
or
pretty cool. I will
patch
say the
updates that
controller
will be
looks really
needed
cool.
will just get washed over by the Bethesda echo chamber of all the fanboys just laughing away going, ha ha ha, it just works, it's okay to have bugs.
Beautiful. Wait, hold on. Actually,
Believe it or not,
this was the controller that he was talking about. Where is it? Controllers, I don't have a problem with it because everyone wants to skin their controller and look cool. Oh well, I can't find it. Doesn't
I am
matter.
excited for Starfield. I think it has a lot of potential, and it could genuinely be a good game for years to come.
Yeah.
And even if it is somewhat of a flop on day one, I am confident that the modern community will fix the game. And
There
as
it
much
is.
as I'm joking about,
My man, he knows just as well as I do that if they're gonna make a bad game, the mods will come and fix it. The mods will, like, if Starfield flops on its face and it's bleeding on the floor, nose broken, the mods are gonna come pick him up and say, you're gonna be okay, baby girl, and fix that broken nose and give her a big pair of titties and make them jiggle and put them in some skimpy armor in space, and they're gonna fix all the planets, and it'll just take about a year. It's coming. It's coming.
it,
The mods
it
will
is
do
a
it.
true fact though that the modern community are the ones who've been keeping these titles alive for such a long time.
Yep.
So yes, I have concerns for Starfield. I'm pretty confident not everything Todd Howard has said has been completely true, and I'm sure day one is going to be quite rocky. But even still, I'm going to buy the game because I do own like about 5 copies of Skyrim. I'm one of those fanboy losers.
Yeah,
So,
I'll probably buy the game as
yeah.
well. As much as I'm bitching, I
It
know
is what
I'm
it
gonna
is, I
get the
guess.
game.
Am I right?
I know.
All right. Anyway, on that bombshell, I'll end the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I'd love to know if I have a valid point or am I just being stupid. Feel free to like the video or dislike it as much
That
as
was
you
actually
want.
a really good video.
Maybe
I
consider
like that.
subscribing. And I'll leave a couple of videos on the screen for you which you might enjoy. But on
That was a
that, I'll
solid
catch you in the
video.
next one. Bye-bye.
That was a solid video. I agree with him on a lot of those points. Let's see if people are salty about it here, because I didn't get enough salt from my own video. I have high hopes for it. Bethesda's RPGs had a profound impact on my life as a child. So, okay, I agree. Fallout 2 was such a fucking banger. Oh my god, I loved Fallout 2. Even I've seen gameplay of Fallout 1, of like the original Fallout, and I've considered going back and playing it because it just looks that good. That being said, I'm a grown man now. If it's disappointing or broken, I'll just go touch grass. Yeah, because you can afford to touch grass. this game alone with mods, when the dev tools get released, will go crazy. Yeah, probably. Still hyped. If it turns out to be a flop, I would be very sad. Yeah, no one's really that mad at him for this. I'm just concerned that this is going to be a whatchamacallit, a reskin of the Fallout games in space. That's my biggest concern, because then it technically means that if you've played Fallout, you've played this game already. It's just congratulations, now the scenery is different. That's what I'm worried about the most. To be fair, I think the game would have been shit if Xbox didn't buy Bethesda, because it would have released earlier, but when Xbox got them, they made them push the game back. Yeah, probably, actually. I could just imagine some guy from the Xbox team, like, walking into Todd's office being like, Todd, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this shit, Todd? Fix it. No, fuck you, Todd. Shut the fuck up. Fix it. I can just imagine that. Like, do you understand, Todd? You understand you could kill this whole console if you don't get this fucking game right. Do you understand me? Do you understand me, Todd? I can see that coming. But yeah, I do hope it's good. I am going to buy it. It's like mandatory. It's 100% mandatory for anyone who's ever played the Bethesda games that you just got to get the new one. It's how it is. It's just the way it goes.